I wanted to ask you a little bit about Creed, because I had Shane Told, who has the Lead Singer Syndrome podcast, on the show earlier this year, and he had Scott on, and I guess he had asked the question, and it was kind of entertaining the ideas of you guys kind of coming back together to do some shows or something like that. Is there any truth to that, or am I really late on that news as well?
It's always something that's floated around. It's for us. It's just a matter of being the right opportunity and the right time, because it's right now. If you said, "Hey, let's do a Creed tour," when I've got an Alter Bridge tour starting in November all the way through next year,
right?
So it just has to be a window that makes sense for everybody, because we all work way too hard on these records to put a 4-month gap in the middle of the promotion of it,
Right.
And on a Creed tour, it could be a 30-date short run or whatnot, and but still, people don't understand. People are like, "Hey, why don't you have Creed do this one-off at this thing?" It's like you can't have a band not play for 13 years and then do a show without a week's rehearsal, and then a whole team putting together the production and all the team. There's a lot that goes into it. So,
well, that's why you get all the comments on social media. Come to my country. Do all this. It's sure, let's just drop everything. We'll just throw my bass on my back and just fly out there, and that's how it gets done.
In this day and age, that's the one thing where I've always been against the digital modeling amplifiers and all that stuff. But, if you're doing fly dates and you're going to, Jakarta or something, that's the only time I'll use like a Kemper or an Axe-Fx or something. And that's made touring easier, because you could bring your little USB port with all your settings on it, rent the local Kempers, plug it in, and I just wouldn't play somebody else's guitars.
Yeah, you still got to. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's not like I imagine. I haven't seen your rig, but I imagine it's a vault with several guitars in it. It's not just like, oh, I got this one guitar and I use it for everything on for a 2-hour set.
one of my biggest problems as a songwriter is I use alternate tunings a lot just to keep things interesting. And for each alternate tuning, you got to have a backup guitar. So
absolutely,
one guitar could back up 3 guitars if you're lucky, if it's pretty similar. But I usually take about 8 guitars on tour for myself, and Miles takes about the same.
Okay,
so
that's reasonable. That seems reasonable. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, how many basses do I have? I have at least 8. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more than that. I got 5 string setups too. So so. It's about 8. It's reasonable. It's reasonable, people.
Yeah, you gotta get from one song to the other. You don't want to sit up there and put it mute and tune before everybody. That's not. It's cool if you're like a jam band or a blues band, just kind of chilling. But when you're doing the big straight up rock,
I'm also like too lazy for that. I would just be like, it's close enough. Let's go.
Yeah. And in the moment, you got your adrenaline going, and you definitely wouldn't tune it correctly.
It wouldn't sound perfect. But anyways, I do like the Axe-Fx and stuff like that for that reason. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I haven't had a cabinet on stage in years, just because it's, even with the heads that I was using, the Galen Kruger or the Dark Glass, I didn't need it on the stage. Like we have in-ears, so I'm listening to everything on the in-ears, and then just not even trusting, but talking to the front of house and going, hey, what's going to make it easiest and best sounding for you out here? Because I've got ears and it doesn't matter. Like whatever is going to make it sound great out there. Do you still use cabs on stage when you can and stuff? Or
I use a cab, but now I was the oldest school guy in the band for sure. I was the last one to in-ears, the last one to try anything different from just super loud. My rig used to be massive on stage. But now I use one head, one cabinet. The cabinet is, I have another ISO box with a 112 in it that carries the load. So I can turn the amp down as low as I want. Front of the house gets the direct signal. And because I don't want to be the only guy on stage that you hear. I don't want to hear just drums and a loud guitar. Because a lot of times you're playing a theater where first couple hundred people just hear your guitar and nothing else, you know. So I've got an onion ears, have the one little ISO box to carry the load, so the front of the house can have that nice even mix of everything. But if I want to take my in-ear out, I have the cabinet up there in case I need it.
Okay. So that makes sense. You know, everyone has their own way of getting it done on stage. That's why I was curious on that. And then getting back to, I think we were talking about potential Creed stuff and why, you know, you're simply explaining what I already know, but a lot of people might not understand, is that you need time for this stuff. It's not like you're just gonna throw the band together after, you know, X amount of years, however long it's been since you guys have played together, and just go do these one-offs, right?
Yeah. Like yesterday, I started putting together a set list for Alter Bridge to present to the guys. Like, hey, I think these are the songs we have to play, and this is a second tier of songs we can keep changing every night. Mm-hmm. But relearning some of these songs, it's like starting over. You know, when I go play with Tremonti, I know those songs backwards and forwards right now. Now I have to forget those and go into the Alter Bridge mode and relearn all that stuff. When I do guitar clinics on tour and people are like, hey, play this, teach me this solo. I'm like, I got to relearn that solo. I don't play it live right now. So I can't, at this point, I've recorded 17 albums and I can't remember all that stuff.
Shit.
You know, there's no way.